a member of the Associated Student Body Council here at the college, and because of that, I'm fortunate to know about some of the stuff that's going on. The college has come up with a new financial assistance plan to help students who are struggling financially or have health issues. I'm telling you about this because I thought you'd like to know that it's going to be able to help out some of your fellow classmates, and also because beginning next semester, there's actually going to be an additional $4 fee added to our units in order to fund the program. I know some of you are probably thinking, we just had an increase in those units last semester. But I think you guys will eventually appreciate that this money is going to be used for helping other students. Now, this announcement that I just made to you, as Lori shakes her head, is a lie. I'm not on the student body council, and there's no new plan or additional fees next semester that I'm aware of. But I'd like to ask you to reflect on some of your initial thoughts and feelings you had as I just made this fictitious announcement to you. Today, my purpose in speaking to you is to explain why society benefits greater if charity is given voluntarily rather than out of obligation. More specifically, I'd like to demonstrate why privately owned charities are a better means by which to handle welfare issues as opposed to government-funded programs. When giving to others on our own, from both an ethical and practical point of view, we benefit more. Practically everyone acknowledges they experience a positive feeling or satisfaction from giving. We are rewarded emotionally, psychologically, and even sometimes by material means. Learning to give and serve others significantly improves our character. We become unselfish and learn to be a help and contribution to society. By allowing the government the right to impose supposed welfare taxes, we strip ourselves of opportunities to give and grow. We're forced to give charity. Think about your responses to my announcement. Upon hearing it, did any of you feel elevated? It's possible that some of you felt good about the idea, but is it the same as when you volunteer to help someone? What about the recipients of charities? Is it an uplifting experience for them to just pick up a welfare check? At private charities, individuals are more likely to get personal attention. They gain inspiration and a desire to go out and serve others in return. To better illustrate these benefits, I'd like to share the following excerpt taken from an article written by Larry Elder in the Human Events magazine in 2001. Sister Connie Driscoll runs St. Martin de Porres House of Hope in Chicago, a home for alcohol and drug-addicted single mothers. In addition to providing training on how to find a job, the house counsels ladies on the importance of assuming responsibilities for one's own behavior. Sister Connie dismisses the need for a government-provided social safety net. Quote, "The problem is not lack of jobs, but the inability of people to work and be responsible with a paycheck." Larry then asks, but shouldn't the government provide for these lost souls? Not according to Sister Connie. Quote, "The work is there. I see plenty of McDonald's help wanted signs for $7 an hour along with a $100 signing bonus. The problem is not lack of jobs, it is bureaucracy and lack of accountability. Sister Connie feels private charity is well equipped to handle the needs of the disadvantaged and those who suffer unexpected misfortune. She reasons that the more government does efficiently, the more we see an I gave it the office mentality. Still, Larry points out, according to Time magazine, charitable gifts by Americans totaled $190 billion in 1999, equivalent to 1/3 of the domestic federal budget, or 2% of our national income. Now, some would argue that government welfare is a better option because Americans don't donate or offer enough help. The statistics I just shared with you came from 1999, but what about today? How charitable were Americans this year amidst a recession? According to a USA Today Gallup poll that was publicized only 2 months ago, quote, "As the recession has deepened, more Americans have volunteered their time into churches and religious charities. Religious charities are seeing an increase in volunteerism among younger and older people. 36% of those 18 to 29 say they volunteered with a religious organization in the past 12 months, compared with 23% a year earlier. Open Doors USA, a minister that works to help Christians who are oppressed or persecuted around the world, has seen more volunteers, especially among the young. The group increased the number of college interns in its Santa Ana, California office to 9 from 3 last year." Now, let me make clear that I do not claim that private charities or government programs will end poverty or misfortune. I only argue that one option yields better than the other. I note that welfare is a real issue and therefore a sensitive one. Each welfare case is unique, and there are many contributing factors that could explain why it is a controversial topic. To list a few, our varying cultural and background influences, receiving information from different sources, laziness, for example, being too lazy to better educate ourselves or to vote. In many cases, we are in fact too lazy to take care of our own friends, families, and neighbors at the local level. We'd rather government handle the problem. But one reason that seems most prevalent is our tendency to sometimes allow our well-intended emotions to cloud our ability to reason. Last week, Mr. Kirkham cited an example of his daughter responding sensitively to the sight of a "Please Save These Animals" commercial on TV. If she reacted solely on emotion, she may have ended up making an enormous donation she couldn't really afford. Our emotions are a powerful force that can be used as a great strength. They can also be a weakness if we don't use our heads to keep them in check. Not just limited to the topic of welfare, I hope that as we approach any problem we're faced with, be it on a small or large scale, we remember to base our decisions on compassion and reason, not just raw emotion. I conclude with an excellent statement made by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt as he tried to guide America through the Depression. Cited by Larry in his article, it's noteworthy that the President himself, quote, the architect of the modern welfare state, warned about the dangers of government welfare dependency. In his January 4, 1935 message to Congress, he stated, quote, "The lesson of history, confirmed by the evidence immediately before me, shows conclusively that continued dependence upon relief induces a spiritual and moral disintegration fundamentally destructive to the national fiber. To dole out relief in this way is to administer a narcotic, a subtle destroyer of the human spirit. It is in violation of the traditions of America. The federal government must and shall quit this business of relief. We must preserve not only the bodies of the unemployed from destitution, but also their self-respect, their self-reliance, and courage and determination." Thank you.
All right, Larissa, what did you think?
I thought the opening was really good. It got me interested and made me actually want to pay attention. And then the rest of the speech I thought was very well put together, and he made some really good points, especially, I thought that welfare was a really good example, and I think it went along really well.
All right. Yeah, I like the attention device a lot. It shows some creativity and effort and definitely gets people to respond to what you're talking about. That's exactly what it ought to do. I thought you had a good setup of what your supporting material was going to be. I didn't think the internal structures were signposted as clearly as they could be, but you moved smoothly from one idea to the next. I thought you presented your quotes pretty effectively. I think sometimes it remains kind of at an abstract level, and I think we could use a few more concrete examples of everyday sorts of experiences. But the abstract level, you're a big picture thinker in this particular situation. I thought that there were good points that you made there. On presentation, you've got a very steady, low-key demeanor that comes across, I think, pretty effectively, although sometimes you can project a little bit more, but there is good variety in your voice in the range that you have. You might want to be a little bit more able to talk to the audience and not have the script quite as much, but I didn't think it was a big distraction. Just there's something more to work on. I think most people recognize that once they've got that in their hand, it's inevitable that they're going to keep trying to look at it, and they don't always need to do that. And you understood the concept. The 2 or 3 places where you need to have the notes are where you've got the long quotes or the example that you're talking about. All right, thank you.